And a good Monday, everybody. Welcome back to another edition of the Phillies Fastball. I'm Mike Gill. There's Oscar Budejen, Jeff Kerr. A weekend in which the Phillies dropped 2 of 3 to the Atlanta Braves. Boys, let's get into it. There's a lot happening here. They win on Saturday night, finally got a little feel-good with Zack Wheeler returning, and then Aaron Nola promptly, all the feel-good went down the drain immediately in Sunday's game, and a lot of the same. Sloppy defense, bad pitching, no offense, and here we are looking at a 9-19 team, 10.5 games out of first place. Oscar and Jeff, there's a lot of noise around this team because of the off day. Jeff, I'll start with you on this 9-game road trip.
Yeah, so I was in Reading yesterday, but I did get to see 2 innings of Aaron Nola just stinking up the joint. Had enough. Went right over the Reading. I actually wanted to watch a team that knows how to hit a baseball and knows how to throw. But regardless, I'm hearing not much yet. I will say that I put out a cryptic tweet today. If they do move on, just remember there are other people in this organization that aren't on the major league coaching staff. Put 2 and 2 together. If they make a move, it won't be, at least in the interim, for what you might think it's going to be.
All right. Well, obviously, guys, Oscar, I'll go to you. You know, obviously, Rob is looking around. He says, I'm aware that I don't think about it, but you saw a firing in Boston, a very high-profile manager gone. And the Phillies, the Red Sox, the Mets, this is a conversation. You could have Phillies fastball, Mets fastball, and Red Sox fastball. They're all having the same conversation because they don't know what to do. They just don't have the talent right now, so they got to do something. So obviously this 9-game trip did not go the way that anybody would hope if you were trying to save your keister here.
I mean, the reality is you're 1-10, 1-9 in the last 10 games, and then you've won 1 game out of the last 12. It ain't pretty. This team is not playing well, and it's not playing well across all the areas. I told you in the beginning of the season, the stat that's most important to me is the starting pitching ERA. It's the worst in baseball, 5.80, the worst in baseball. That to me is incomprehensible. I mean, Christopher Sanchez, Jesus Luzardo, Aaron Nola, you have Painter, which has done, I would say, what we expected. I mean, he's done a nice job. Not perfect, but he's learning his way around this. But it's unfortunate. It is very unfortunate. This is where this team is. And look, let's be very clear. If they decide to do anything with Topper, he would be kind of a scapegoat. I don't think he's the core of the problem here. What this guy has done for this team, and I wanted to make sure that we left this here. Whatever decision is going to be made, is going to be made. This guy is a winner. This guy came here June 3rd, 2022, and the only thing that he did is that year he got you to the World Series. I mean, we lost a World Series, and then the next year, we won 90 games. The following year, we won 95 games. The following year, we won 96 games. This guy has been at the heart of this. We started the bad season. Look, the reality, we decided to run it back. It hasn't worked. Zack Wheeler not starting the season. He's coming back. Look, if you ask me what I would do is I would give him the next 10 days. We play against the Giants, which do not score runs. We play against the Marlins, and we play against the A's. And then after that, we'll pass the 40-game mark that Dave Dombrowski spoke about. And then at that point, we make a decision. Plus, we give enough time to maybe a potential conversation with Alex Cora regarding a possibility.
You know what, Oscar? I was thinking about this, right? They went 2-11 combined against the Cubs and the Braves over the last 2 weeks. What if they somehow go 8-2 in this 10-game stretch, like you said? Rob Thompson's still here, right?
Oscar, I think you do have the slide of their upcoming road trip here. The schedule coming up might set them up for some success because if they can't get some wins in this set of games that is coming up here, you talk about that 40-game mark, you know, we're talking on this Monday. Maybe Dombrowski holds off and says, listen, We've got San Francisco, Miami, and the Athletics. That's a stretch of games where we can maybe right the ship. But the problem is you're running the risk of this season basically being over if you don't pick up something on this road ahead.
I mean, but the question is, what is the issue? Topper, or is the issue that the players are not performing? I mean, this guy.
I think all three of us agree that it's
latter.
not. I tweeted out this weekend, and I am getting just a tremendous amount of responses on this tweet, which is that, I mean, people just, they don't like Thompson, okay? I mean, most of these people just don't like they don't like his personality.
But it's weird because all he's done is win. Like, did they remember the Phillies before him?
But you got to remember, they don't care about regular season wins. They only think about the way they lose. You know why
they don't care? Because they don't watch baseball. They don't. They do not.
I'm not arguing why. I'm not arguing why. As I tweeted out, Jeff, if the Phillies get rid of Topper, it's an optics move. It doesn't change much. One, they have no right-handed bat in the middle of the order. That's not changing. They don't hit left-handed pitching. That's not going to change. Marsh and Stott will still platoon. They think a new manager is going to come in here and that the platoons are going to stop. That's not happening. The lineup, you can stack it up any way you want. Oscar, you showed their OPSs this year. You could stack that lineup 6 ways this Sunday with those OPSs. New manager is not changing. Nola isn't all of a sudden going to become the Nola of 2016. These things aren't happening.
Look at what Topper has done as manager since 2022. We won 87 games in 2022, and we made it to a World Series. We won 90 games, 90 and 72, 95 and 67, 96 and 66. I mean, it doesn't get any better than this, guys. He's had a bad stretch.
Look at those 2 years with the Braves. 101, 104. The Phillies beat those teams. They were way better than the team that won the World Series in 21.
But it goes back to Jeff. These fans don't care about regular season success because you just pointed it out. The Braves were the better team, and then they got to the playoffs, and the Braves lost. So the 90s.
Because baseball fans don't understand. The baseball postseason is the biggest crapshoot in all of sports.
I agree.
You play 162 games for 3 and 5 games. I've never understood.
I'm just giving you the stuff that I get from the radio listeners daily. I know it's not the regular season stuff, but they can point out a lot of moves in the playoffs that have cost them that Topper's been a part of. Pulling Wheeler in the game against Arizona, the bunt last year. These are things that vividly stand out as to why you lost games.
I agree, but get ready to blame Bryce Harper, Kyle Schwarber, and Trey Turner for being pitiful.
I get it. Hey, listen, I understand. I say, listen, this team just has not hit in the playoffs. So when you don't hit, every move you make is scrutinized. So they're saying, okay, well, when your team's not performing and you make these moves, there's so many moves over the years that have been criticized.
My thing is, Rob Thompson's biggest flaw as a manager is Charlie Mango's biggest flaw as the manager when Charlie Mango was here. But Charlie Mango got a championship. Rob Thompson manages the postseason like he does the regular season. And you can't do that. Charlie Mango did it, and Charlie Mango got lucky. Everything fell in his lap in 2008. Cole Hamels got the pitch game 1 and 5 every single time.
Now, the other thing, let's not blame everything on the manager, right? The use of analytics right now play a major role in decisions managers make. So we don't know.
And that's not going to change if Alex Cora is here.
Exactly. So, I mean, look, if you ask me what I would do, I would let Topper manage the next 10 games. I know that we're running the risk of running the season. They're manageable games. We got Wheeler back. Wheeler in the next 10 days is going to pitch at least 2 of those 8 games. And hopefully Luzardo and Christopher Sanchez can get their game back. And if you got those 3 starters getting back to who they are, then this team has a much better chance of winning. Because in the past, if you go back to last year, the beginning of the year, we did not, in the first half of the year, we did not hit as good as we hit the second half of the year when we got hotter. Now, the question is, the pitching. The pitching is at the heart of this, and I'll go back to the slides. Let me just remove this because there's a lot of slides in between that I want to make sure we go through. But the reality is, I mean,
you got two guys right now you don't trust in the rookie. So 3 of the 5, you think you're going to lose.
Nola's ERA since the start of last season is 6.15. I mean, he's unpitchable. You can't keep trotting him out there. If your ERA is 6.15 since the start of last year, at what point does your performance say, I can't keep throwing you?
But here's the problem. Who are you replacing him with?
I agree with that sentiment. They don't really have a lot in the system, but at some point, if you're not performing, you have to say your performance is now making me have to give someone else an opportunity.
I'll tell you what, Mike, if Gene Cabrera had a better start in AAA, I think this would be a conversation, a really good conversation.
I know, but he's not. I think we're going to be running Nola out there, and hopefully you run out Nola. I mean, Nola is not a 6.13 pitcher. He's probably in the, I don't know, 4+ range.
Oscar,
I mean,
he might not be a 6.13, but so far he is. And,
I know,
and the other day,
and we're counting last year too.
You win the game on Saturday night, and in the first inning, he gives up a 3-run homer, and the game is over.
And the light was gone. Yeah, you know what? I came into Sunday thinking, and I was crazy to think this. Oh, they might turn it around. They might. And then I saw him pitch to the first batter, and I'm like, no, it's not happening today.
Let me throw you this question. You said we're not coming back, right? The game is 3-0 in the first inning. Why are we coming back? Because of Nola or because we cannot hit?
Because of both. Both.
Exactly.
Both. Correct.
Well,
that's why I thought that.
But Oscar, you're right. But the problem is you're struggling offensively, and now you're down 3-0 before you've even come to the plate.
That's it.
So now the mental is, we're done. We got no shot.
And that's not the only issue. The other issue is the bullpen. We don't have enough depth in the bullpen. Without
everybody's hurt right now.
Exactly. Without Duran, Boland, and Pop, you don't have enough weapons in the bullpen. So you arrive.
It's a really bad sign when you're like, oh, Jonathan Boland's on the rehab assignment today. He might be back at the end of the week. Like, we shouldn't be thinking this, but we are.
Against the Cubs, I think we were at some point winning like 5-3. I said, we're going to lose this game. We don't have enough depth in the bullpen. Who's going to
You wasted an option year on one of your top prospects who's killing it in Reading right now and crushed it in Reading yesterday because you didn't have any depth in the bullpen just so he was available Friday night. Didn't pitch, comes back down the Reading, acting like nothing happened, and probably pitched one of his better outings of the year.
Jeff's talking about Alex McFarland, who they called up, never used him, and then sent him back to the minors. And some people thought bringing him up was a sign of, hey, lack of performance, we're going to start giving some of these young guys an opportunity, and that did not happen. They sent him back. And obviously, the Phillies, by the way, 2 hits yesterday. They had 1 hit until the 9th inning in that game yesterday. This is tenfold. You can't hit 2 hits. I know Chris Sale's tough, but he's not invincible. But when he pitches against you, it feels invincible. It feels that the game is over.
12 strikeouts.
It was a very telling sign, I thought, this weekend when I heard Brad Sloan was there and David Shedd, because I don't know if you guys know this or not, they're Dave Dombrowski's like guys. They're like the right-hand men. They're the guys who kind of see other stuff he's doing. Or what this team's doing. They're his eyes and ears. So when I heard they were there in Atlanta over the week, I'm like, like they're trying to get something. What's going on? And it might have to be 10 more games for that, but when those guys are going on a road trip, I remember, I think before they played, was it the Angels, Oscar? It was after the Giants series Rob Thompson took over a couple years ago. And I remember them kind of being there, and I wasn't covering the team yet, but I do remember them kind of being there.
The Atlanta series is the one that dictated. They made the move immediately after the Atlanta series. On
Oscar, let me ask you this question then, because everyone's saying if you fire Thompson, that's not going to change much. But it did change stuff in 2022. Why was that different? Girardi was the manager. He gets fired. They're 22-28. They make a move, and it did change stuff. So why is this different?
I don't think
Yeah,
Girardi was not a likable guy. I mean, to me, he did not have the relationship, the respect that, I mean, maybe the respect part because of his history, but it's a completely different dynamic. Topper is a player's manager. It's to me, look, as fans, we get upset when he makes certain moves. And I look, for example, the other day, not having a pitcher ready when Painter was pitching a lefty to come in and face Harris, or in the series against the Giants where he left Nola one more batter and Devers hits you a home run behind leaving a left. Look, there's some decisions, but part of it is that he's handcuffed. I mean, the bullpen, you don't have enough weapons. I mean, you don't have enough weapons.
You know what bothers me more? You know what bothers me more about the starting pitching, Oscar? Do any of these guys know how to go 5 innings?
Well,
I mean, we
the
haven't
starting
gone 7th
pitching
the entire year.
Yeah, the starting pitching, as you guys have laid out, Oscar, I don't know if you have that slide handy, but the starting pitching, as you chronicled, has been horrendous.
It's coming.
Yeah,
it's coming.
Here's a stat for you, and Oscar knows this. I gave it to him on Phillies Weekly last night. There have only been 2 times this entire season a starting pitcher has gotten an out in the 7th inning.
Yeah,
Jesus Luzardo and Aaron Nola, and that was really early in the year.
Listen,
look at this, guys. Look at the numbers. Starting pitching, 5.80. We're the worst starting pitching ERA in baseball. We spend so much money on this. This is about the players. You think Topper can go out there and pitch for them? 580, guys.
The 2 most damning stats for this team this year is the one Oscar just pointed out, and here's the other one. 0-10 against lefty starters that weren't openers. And the average is under 160. That is putrid.
Okay.
You are not going to win baseball games that way.
A couple things. A lot of people, and listen, I'm just giving you the reaction I get from the listeners, all right? Many people think that if Topper's out, the platoons are going. They blame him for these platoons, and I always say, Brandon Marsh can't hit lefties. Everybody who manages this team, they will have a platoon.
Answer. Look, here's your answer, Mike. Here's your answer. Okay, left-handed pitching is the whatever the 4.
And that's an OPS. That's a legit.
That's OPS,
right
guys.
there.
That's OPS. Only, believe it or not, Stott, because he has, I think, like 4 at-bats against lefties. The only one that has a green OPS. Everybody else, Harper has yellow at 799. Everybody else is below the average of MLB. Crawford, 181. Romuto, 398. Sosa, which absolutely killed a left-handed pitcher last year, 572 OPS against lefties. Bomb, 392 is a bomb, by the way. March, 438, 701 for Garcia. I mean, can you do a lineup with this?
I was impressed with the fans yesterday when I tweeted out about Justin Crawford. I said, I put out the stats. He's hitting .063 against lefties this year. Dylan Moore is playing center field in spot of him. I would have rather just played Crawford, and I think they understood where I'm coming from. It's not – the numbers say Crawford shouldn't play against lefties right now, but you have no one to replace him with. And that is the issue with a lot of players on this team right now.
Look, if you go back, look at this, right? Look at the lineup, right? This is what was tweeted yesterday by Luke. So Luke tweeted this yesterday.
Luke took a screenshot of this for us. Yes.
Of the right side, right? Last year, you had 3 guys that were in green. Okay, they were way above the average of MLB in terms of OPS. You had 4 guys that were in red, and only Turner was at 755. Now, if you look at the left side, there's only 2 hitters, which are Schwarber and Harper, that are in green. Everybody else is in red. I mean, this team is massively underperforming. Massively.
Right. Like, Oscar, I even subtweeted what Luke Arcaney put out with this graphic and said, you can restock. Yeah, you can restock that lineup any way you want. With those OPSs, it doesn't matter how you stock them. You're not going to score.
Yeah, exactly. And lefty and righties, you see it here. Lefty, righties, and runners in scoring position. Those are the OPSs of each player.
And you know what? You can get mad at Dave Dombrowski all you want. He's absolutely right. We do not have a cleanup hitter right now.
Well, that's his own fault.
I know. It is his fault, but he is right.
He's not, yeah.
They don't have one.
He admitted it, right? So people are saying, and this is what I got this morning with people reacting to my tweet about Thompson. Well, he should never have hit Bohm cleanup. He had no other option. That's what he was given.
What are you going to put? Sosa? You're going to put Crawford
Garcia?
as the fourth hitter? Ramuto? You take your pick. This guy, look, to me, you have three guys that are everyday guys, Turner, Schwarber, and Harper. You could put a question mark on Garcia. Everybody else below that is a platoon guy.
The quote that everybody mocked Dombrowski for over the last 2-3 months, we're content with our club. I still say if you read into that quote and remember when he said that, that is his way of telling the owner, this is not good enough. We need to expand the budget. We need to go in the third tax bracket because what we got is not good enough. You can only do with what your owner did. And we know John Middleton is willing to spend. I thought that was his plea to John Middleton. We need to spend more money. This will not work. We need to do
There are four
stuff.
players, Jeff. There are four players, Turner, Schwarber, Harper, and Wheeler, that represent half of your payroll.
Mm-hmm.
Correct. Yeah.
Turner,
I mean,
Schwarber, Harper, Wheeler.
And Wheeler.
And don't forget, you got Nola making $27 million for the next 4 seasons.
You know what? I wish we had the John Madden graph here. I could circle Bohm and I could circle Garcia and I could circle Walker and I could circle Castellanos, who's not here anymore. But those contracts are off the books. You are going to have $70 million to play with and to fix this. This thing can get turned around quickly, by the way. Well, it may not be this year.
By the way, they might not have baseball next year to even try to fix this thing. But
yeah, I know, but I'm acting like that.
Bygones, right? Exactly. I'm just saying. After a season like this, you might need next season off. I'll tell you how it's gotten, guys. Friday night, obviously the Phillies are on Prime. Apple, and the Sixers are on Prime. And people were asking which game to watch on the television where I was.
Question.
And most people went with the Sixers because they said this Phillies season is already over.
Let's go Flyers. I say let's go Flyers.
I don't know what you do here, guys. I tweeted it out. I know a lot of people don't like my take, which is fine. You're all entitled to your opinion. I said I don't know a less impactful player for $300 million than Trey Turner.
You know what? We brought your question up last night on Phillies Weekly, Mike. I don't know if you got to listen, but if you could amnesty one contract on the Phillies, who would it be? A lot of people said Turner. They agree with you.
It's either Turner or Nola. If you look at that, those are the two contracts that are what you would consider.
Luke Arcaney said Turner. Did Tim Kelly say Nola Oscar? I'm trying to remember.
We were debating between both of them. Those would be the two contracts. Look, I love Nola. He's such a wonderful guy. He's he represents everything that is good about baseball.
He's been a great pitcher here for a lot of years.
Good about the Phillies, but unfortunately, at the end of the day, it's about performance, guys. And look, I'll give Topper 10 more games to try to right the ship. Hopefully Wheeler can help in this whole momentum.
This is my memory of Aaron Nola, just from watching this team forever. When they were so bad in 16, 17, definitely 18. 18 they were kind of surprising, but those years, the days Aaron Nola pitched, I used to say to myself, they have a shot. They are terrible, but they have a shot to win this game. And Aaron Nola did that for a lot of years, and I think a lot of fans just didn't like him because he represented a losing era. And
Michael,
I was so happy when they made the playoffs in 22 because he made it. Because he put up with a lot of BS.
Hey, listen,
Gabe Kapler and Joe
Michael, every Phillies fan is asleep with the red button.
I think every Phillies fan is thinking like Michael is right now. Hit the panic button.
And Jeff, in 2022, Nola pitched them into the playoffs, and then he closed out the series against the Cardinals. He's pitched a lot of big games for them.
He pitched great in the 23 playoffs until the collapse against the Diamondbacks.
I just
won
don't
the Houston
know.
game, right? The Houston game when we made it.
The Houston game, the Cardinals game, the Braves game, the Padres. He pitched great again. Pitched fine in the World Series. It's funny. That's what was so shocking to me going into that time. They were up 3-2. Aaron Nola on the mound in Game 6, and Ranger Suarez on the mound in Game 7. They did not win. It's incredible
and guys,
to me.
everything you said about Nola is right. The problem is he looks
He's not
cooked.
good now.
He
Yeah,
looks like
he does.
he's done.
He does.
And you got
Yeah.
4 more years of him trotting out there every 5th day at $27 million. That's
And you know
a problem.
I can't live in hindsight because at the time it made sense, but it's a bad contract. That's why the Phillies never paid pitchers all those years when Dale Montgomery was running the show.
Hey,
he just
listen.
wouldn't do it.
I know it wasn't a popular take by me, but I was one guy who said I would not have given Christopher Sanchez that contract. You had the best bargain in all of baseball, and then you paid him, and now he's even struggling a little bit. And I hope Luzardo, I hope Sanchez, I hope they all earn their money, and that might turn this thing around. But
it's like Barkley. The same things happened to Saquon Barkley, where they give him that contract where they didn't.
I hated that contract too.
You didn't need to. And look, it does look good for the organization. It does make people want to come there, but it's like what you said, Mike. You didn't have to do that. Say,
didn't have to do it.
You signed the dotted line. That ain't our problem.
I don't have as much of a problem as you guys have. I get it's not. You don't have to do it, but I think it's the right thing to do. I mean, it's an organization doing the right thing. And I'm a big believer in culture, and I thought it was the right thing to do. Yeah. The guy deserves it.
And look, Aaron Nola had a bargain contract for years, too, if you remember. He outpitched his previous contract.
And to me, their performance doesn't have anything to do with contracts. Neither Sanchez and Luzardo. They're good guys. They're team guys.
It's a way to be a smart businessman and to keep your team under that bracket. Like, you had him cheap. You had Nola cheat for a lot of years. It's people hate the Ryan Howard contract. I said, but you were okay when he was making $640K and hitting 58 home runs.
Mm-hmm. Well, boys,
I'll run it 10 days.
You'll wait 10 days.
I'll wait 10 days.
I'm with you, Oscar. I think 10 days is. If they do make a move today, so be it. But I'm with you. I think they gotta wait till 40.
Okay. Well, what if they go 5-5?
Well, then you consider making a move because you're going to be 10.5 games.
5-5 ain't good enough. Yeah, you have to go at least 7-3.
This guy, look what this guy has done for this team, this organization. He
deserves the benefit of the doubt.
He deserves the benefit of the doubt.
This is why I get upset because literally all this guy has done is won since he became. They won 8 in a row the second he came in.
Well, there's a lot of people, Jeff and Oscar, who disagree with you. I know.
They didn't watch the Phillies in June of 22.
I know. Well, again,
of it.
I think most of these people judge it based on the playoff performances and, quite frankly, playoff failures. They were the better team against Arizona and the Mets, and they lost those games. I think last year, it was clear that the Dodgers were the better team.
And they were the better team against the St. Louis Cardinals in 2011 and the San Francisco Giants in 2010.
Yeah.
And the guy that they'll kiss the feet for, and that they should, but they lost those series too. It is what it is. Doesn't take away anything Charlie Mangle did. Doesn't take away anything Rob Thompson did. They're both winners, and they deserve more respect.
Well, as Michael says in the comment section, 1-9, what have you done for me lately? Well, this team right now sits.
I agree with Mike. It's
10.5 games out of first place.
They're 9-19. You have to consider things. You do.
Day off today. We'll see if moves are made. We'll be back tomorrow, of course, getting you ready for the next series against San Francisco. Oscar, Jeff, good to see you boys on this Monday.
Have a wonderful day. Go Phils.